Oh, so
pretty sure I had it muted out.
Well, I mean, you were. What does because I see the signal working up, but then there's a little meter that's kind of like bouncing in the middle. Like,
Are you talking about that one?
Yeah. So like, is that the true? Signal that's or is that like the input level, and you know what I'm saying, like, because you got like your meter, but then your little meter that's like moving behind it.
Yeah, that stand's a piece of shit.
Adding to the list.
I keep forgetting to bring that one over.
I keep forgetting to get another one. Or make a better one.
But anyways, yeah, it should be alright.
That glove did wonders. It had a grip too. Like, it was a blessing and a curse though, because
it's weird.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like it'd have to be tight enough, but you know.
Oh, it's really tight. It's like skin tight, but the thing is like the grip. I like it because you stay in places, but you stay in places.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Damn, can you give me my phone? It's right there in front of me. Well, basically,
that was fun.
This is supposed to be what we're calling Jamcast. And
so we're jamming and we're casting.
No fishing allowed.
If anybody wants to come jam, fucking do it with us. Any bands, just let us know. But this is basically what it is. We're gonna jam and we're gonna bullshit.
This is an open call to cool musicians who want to fucking have fun.
We got all the gear you'll probably need if you want to bring a head or whatever.
We got instruments, we got gear, we got speakers, we got things. They're all right here at Jamcast.
If you want to bring a drum set, that's fine. We'll just need some ahead of time, like, you know, setup time. But
I mean, anybody who plays drums, that should be
the first. It's
skilled knowledge
at
this point, yeah.
Especially for something like this, dude. It's not an easy thing to set up.
No,
I've beat my head against the wall for months trying to get all this shit set up, and I think we finally got it. Hopefully, this is all working good. I don't know if anybody's going to end up watching this particular one because it's not like we promoted it or anything. But
just as long as it goes up, I mean, that's how you really want to test stream.
Well, I think, are we going to post stuff once it's after it's live?
It's already live streamed.
Yeah, well, I know,
but
well, that's the cool part. Since he has DVR enabled, when he's done with it, the live stream will be on his channel. He won't delete it like all the other ones because he just test. And you can go back and
it also saves a video, an MP4 of the whole thing. So, like, I don't know if they call it a VOD.
Probably it's video on demand. Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just our copy.
Like pay-per-view.
Kind of, yeah. Well, that's the thing is, it's got like a built-in, like it just says DVR, but you're basically during the live stream with that enabled. That's how you can go back on YouTube while we're still live
pay-per-view.
Yeah. Dude,
unpaid.
I think there's a reason people aren't doing this because of how much of a pain in the fucking ass all this was.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure most people get, like,
well, especially the level of DIY you've gone through. You're the producer, as well as like one of the people that are, you know, like.
Well, I've seen sometimes, you know, bands, but it's just somebody's phone.
But that's the thing. This is like he's being like Joe Rogan's Jamie alongside with Joe Rogan. He's hosting and producing. We need somebody that can just sit there and press the buttons, but we ain't rich.
Right. We don't have
that much clout.
We don't have a production team or a budget, so.
Well, I mean, clout can be traded for budget. Like, we could just, you know, press buttons.
Well,
get your name out there as a button presser.
You'd be fucking shocked how hard it is to just find a reliable button presser.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not saying slimming it, but we will probably end up as like the first credential on somebody's, like experience list. I'm fine with that.
Let me check your finger.
It's a simple layout. He explained to me in one night how to fucking switch scenes, start all live.
It's really not.
It's not.
That's not the complicated part. The complicated part was making it all come together, like with the audio.
Yeah, and do all
that, getting it in there, fucking. Ugh.
Well, the balancing of it, and then
too, the live sound, because I've got the digital shit over there for my cymbals, so I have to have those coming through a monitor. Like, Lazy D already said he wanted to come do one, so that'll be a real good test of where the vocals are at.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing is I never have anybody doing vocals on a regular basis over here. Everybody just jams on guitar or bass and or drums. So Lazy D is gonna, and plus Lazy usually has at least 2 people singing. Last time they were here, Kirsty was she had a vocal mic, which I was using a fucking Tom mic for, but that's beside the point. That's how DIY it is. It's like, well, we're out of microphones. What do we do?
That's the thing. We've got so much shit in here that I feel is when we take it all down, it's gonna fucking place is gonna collapse.
the whole integrity of the structure is held up by the fucking piles of music equipment we have. I mean, when you look at that wall of amps, dude, and then like what we dealt with last night.
Dude, we have
thing. It's surprising that whole thing hasn't collapsed.
Not to brag, but our inventory kind of rivals that of Music Farm.
Right.
We could open up a music shop if everything went south. Like,
we could at least live for a year off of
a liquidation sale.
Right.
Yeah.
A liquidation sale would definitely keep us fed for at least a year.
Easily.
Like, that's another thing is like, I mean, at the end of the day, we've actually invested a lot, like money-wise too. Like, all the cables he brought, all the fucking EAD. That's one of the biggest. That's the biggest thing that made it even happen was that EAD, and then just kind of using whatever else we had.
I can proudly say that we've never spent so much money to almost break our necks 50 fucking times a day tripping over all the goddamn.
Beating our heads against the wall, trying to learn how to use a program.
We had to learn electrical engineering for parts of this.
But hopefully,
I stood outside.
So what we're saying is courses are starting this fall.
Yeah. We gotta fucking make some of this money back.
Right. We accept student aid programs. FastFuck, come get us.
Yeah, really, Lazy's one of them I know for sure is already gonna come do it. Lazy Ass Destroyer. I'm guarantee you I'll be able to convince Night Goat to come do one. Because, I mean, I jam with them all the time and shit.
Yeah, like especially like on the way back from a show or something.
Or
maybe
before
work it
a
out.
show,
Yeah, one or the other where everything's already packed.
The jam session after a show seems like a...
Well, maybe not.
I don't...
It's more...
It's going to be late as fuck and shit.
It's not even... Well, it's not even the time constraint. It's the energy levels. Like, I'd rather have a high energy jam session. Like, like...
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, a short early jam session I think would be the best if we're going to do it before a show.
Because that'd be great for warm-up, too. That's benefiting. That's
right.
Yeah, more to warm up, too. Because I know traditionally, too, I wouldn't, if we did get together to practice like a day of a show, usually it'd only go through like the newest one. And then
any problem
just
areas.
Like a little couple things, not
just
do the whole set, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Sometimes I've noticed that's bad. It's not like you get tired, but it's almost like you already did it once today.
Out.
Yeah, there's a certain kind of freshness that it doesn't have then, you know what I mean?
I don't know why, it's my dad always said, fucking, which I don't know why I still even listen to what the fuck he's ever said, but anyways.
Broken clock. Right twice a day.
Well, he always told me, he was like, practicing the day of his show is bad juju. That's all he said.
Yeah, I mean,
he was like, every time he practiced before a show, the show went bad. So I just never practiced before a show.
I
just never practiced.
Yeah.
It's more like
going home and practicing won't help you play any better.
It does seem, though, it would be like you have that brand new one that you kind of are getting together for, that's like the only kind of caveat to that.
If you really need to
tighten
something up.
Like we just kind of got it, let's make sure we have it.
That's the benefit of this kind of platform is literally say you want to debut a new song, say you want to practice, or say you want to like show.
Yeah, but not to do a whole band practice. Yeah, that is
no. That's some Patreon shit. That's where you join that band's Patreon. We link up and
I mean, that's...
I'm fine with being a 10%er, don't get me wrong.
I mean, to me, it's like, it's not like you're, wore out or something, but at the same time, it's more like, like I said, that freshness that the first time through has.
Oh, yeah, no, it's the energy level, the high energy.
Yeah, I mean...
It's subtle, too, sometimes.
I don't know, all I ever am trying to do is get people to let me set my drums up and play them, so pretty much any opportunity I get.
Well, you're a rare breed, though, like...
Yeah. Well, the thing about drums is you can't just fucking play them all the time. Like, you can just pick up a guitar and you can, like... There's so much setup involved. Well, if you can even, and if you have a place to have them,
and unless you have an electronic kit, it's not quiet. You're going to have somebody
feel the same.
Time constraints with neighbors or whatever too.
Like it's the hardest instrument to actually get to practice on. Like I don't get to practice.
Yeah,
like,
Last
night I just went into the studio down there and recorded some shit for Chris. Basically all the information I was given was. He said, how long can you do a snare roll? And I'm like, I mean, as long as it's not full force indefinitely, basically I can just do
isn't there a way
forever.
Kind of bounce the sticks?
Yeah, if it's just a regular little snare roll, I can do that indefinitely, like, as long as it's not full on hitting the fucking thing.
Yeah, you're not like,
if it's just a little fucking buzz roll kind of thing, I can do that indefinitely pretty much.
Would you say that being a drummer is working smarter, not harder?
No, fuck no. It's working harder, not hard.
Well, no, I mean, learning those little tricks, like doing the drum rolls, indefinitely, that's really letting, letting the balance of the sticks and knowing.
Well, it's not tricks; it's technique.
Yeah, not tricks. I'm saying balance of the sticks. Like I'm talking,
I think it's.
You're going to learn not like cheats, but it's just like you have to find ways to prolong. You got to find ways to prolong your fucking playing. Like you can't burn yourself out.
It's technique, dude. That's part of what good technique is. It's energy conservation.
Yeah, playing evenly, but solid enough.
Is.
And
can have the same velocity hit. Consistent velocities.
Because you don't want to fucking bash the shit out of your shit.
And wear yourself out.
Well, because then the dynamics change too much.
Well, I've never see drums is one of those weird ones. Where it's like you run that instrument. Being a drummer. I have no idea what that's like, and I don't want to. But the whole thing is energy conservation is very low on the spectrum of any other kind of musical instrument, unless you're doing
vocals.
wind. Vocals or
anything you're using your breath for.
It just
So I should get a 30-pound guitar so I can start learning how to concert now.
I was gonna say you should start getting a guitar that you have to breathe into.
Yeah. Bagpipe guitar.
Yeah, like a bagpipe guitar type deal where then you'll really know.
I'll just pick up sax again. Fuck it.
Because you can lay there and play guitar and be completely shit exhausted.
Sousaphone.
Remember that epic sax guy? That meme that was going around years ago? That dude was full on dancing and playing fucking sax. Not
that ain't easy, dude.
Keeping consistent fucking wind.
Right, and that's the thing. That's technique.
All those chains on your belt weigh you down.
There's a reason Misfits guitarist plays a guitar that weighs as much as him. Yeah.
Man bun.
It's the guy from Tina Turner from Lost Boys. That's what I was. The chains on.
Oh yeah.
And then those.
Yeah. I just thought it was a byproduct of the
'80s. The saxophone was technically the first rock and roll solo instrument.
It's the newest instrument.
And all those old songs, like doo-wop songs, it's not a guitar solo, it's a sax solo.
Yeah. Notation-wise, do you play saxophone the same way you play guitar? The way you come in and out of notes, the way you play, you use it the same musically as you would a guitar. And it's in the same range, too, the same... frequency range.
Yep.
It's the
relatively.
It's the low mid to high mid range.
Mm-hmm.
That all that middle.
Yeah.
In there. Very similar to where vocals sit.
Well, I think too. It's not like saxophone completely faded out of rock or anything.
No, but you can definitely say that back in the '70s, being a saxophone player, you were overbooked. You could be in a funk band, a pop band. Experimental band.
If you were good, you could do whatever you want.
I mean, just it's kind of like the saxophone player was like being the drummer. They had the same kind of availability.
Well, because it was the original rock it was a rock instrument as opposed to a lot
It
of
fits
other
in
like,
any genre.
Right.
of orchestra instrument.
Yeah, you can. It can slip into anything. Drums are the real universal. Like you can use drums or percussion of some type in any type of music.
Yeah.
That's
it.
though.
Drummers will always have a job in music. You have to be there for music, unless you're doing like.
Drummers were the first musicians. The first thing we did was beat fucking logs and sticks and shit on shit.
The only thing I can think of like that you wouldn't be able to like have like I'm doing super experimental shit with no drums in it. So
Well, technically the voice, but then drums being.
Well, even still, like rhythmically, like there's still some sort of percussion to like EDM music. It still has a drum.
Guitar.
Doom, 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 doom. That's just a kick drum. You know? And so it's like, in some type of way, like percussion is really in almost everything. Like unless those, like you said, those very niche things where they were intentionally trying not to have any type of percussion. Like
well,
they were just poor and they had been slap bass.
I think naturally too. I don't know whether it's being used to listening to stuff that has percussion in it, but I think your mind is going to kind of like find those, even if it's just a voice, it's going to find,
it finds a pulse.
It'll fill in those spots,
It's almost like human beings are like genetically encoded to notice patterns.
Well, yeah, I think that's part, it's like how closure in art, like where you have a line and then this line, but it's like connected, even though it's not.
It's a funny choice of words.
Tension
Closure.
and release, like and patterns is essentially, and that's the thing is, I don't know why we attach so quickly to 4, but like almost all music is in 4.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, or at least when it comes back around that way,
Right, in some type of some type of multiple of 4.
Yeah, to where
I mean, like computer memory is kind of basic. And 4s, you would just never break it down that low.
I mean, it is kind of Western
12,
stuff
16,
too.
24, 40, like the exponentiality, like 4 is just
because around the world there is some weird, sort of.
Yeah, I think it was that Bembe music or whatever Jimmy listens to. I think that's what it's called. Like it's all of it's based in 3s.
Yeah, I mean, I like because enough 3s you get the 4, you get the 12. You know what I mean? I like 6, 8 a lot. I do play in like 3s all the time. Especially too. I find it was like an easy way to kind of like not have shit sound like other shit.
Yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
And it still has a 4/4 vibe.
Did I tell you I listened to that whole fucking Superfooter album the other night?
You sent a message and then that's when your Facebook fucked up. So
yeah, dude, that album's killer, dude. That fucking album is killer. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, well, it was fun back in the I mean, it was fun to do back in the day. You know what I mean? And I mean, fuck, if Dan was around, I'm sure we probably would have like tried again or gotten back together. Really, the main thing whenever it's all like with my shoulder, I couldn't fucking play, and then we had to fucking it was literally like the collapse of the fucking band, really.
You got the makings of a Resurgence movie inside of you. Just call them up and be like, it's the band.
It took me a long time to get back, like, because it was almost like the frozen shoulder fucking, I think a lot of times...
I'm about out of time, actually. Like, Chris is going to come get me soon.
It's cool. Well,
I'll milk it a little bit.
Like, I'm seeing fucking,
You're an integral part of practice.
It's like, I think you're better off working it out in the long, physically, like, working the shit out rather than to go get surgery and shit, because that's only,
It's only going to postpone it.
I've heard a lot, especially with shoulders and knees and shit. Yeah.
Like, I've never heard anybody who's ever had back surgery that didn't say they regretted doing it.
Yeah.
You're either getting discs fused or some kind of weird wonky shit.
You're better off, like, figuring out stuff with your diet, everything, A
lot of the doctors I've talked to talk about the best thing for like back pain, regular back pain, movement. Keep moving. Don't
one thing that I found, fucking stretching your hamstrings, man, because it's like when you just fucking just to touch your toes, like it's the whole, and like your back's, it's all connected, because all the time too, like a lot of times your lower back is what will start hurting first, you know what I mean?
Short of stretching, and I'm talking static stretching, even calisthenics, dude, you're literally, everything we do causes swelling in some parts of our body, either through physical activity of muscle building or whatnot, so The theory as it stands would be that back injury of a low end, I'm not talking like severe,
Well,
if you go stationary and you like lie down for a day, all the muscles in your back, everything's going to start swelling and it's going to make it feel worse. It's healing, but it's not a healing.
Yeah, it's either like unuse or like bad posture too. Like a lot of people don't have,
I'll have a hump by 40.
and that's the.
Oh, dude, he's the king of bad posture.
Yeah.
You see how this dude
We all
walks
have
around?
rounded shoulders. Where everybody's like, you know what I mean. And that's the one thing. The one thing that I learned as a chiropractor out of anything, is it's like that's another thing with your back. When all you do is put your shoulder blades, like just move them together, and that actually works those muscles that are in between, and it helps pull your shoulders
And
back.
your nerves, all of it.
Well, and that's the thing too. It feels a little, but you'll be able to tell, and it's just like a little bit of strength in there. You know what I mean? Just little things to help.
I kind of like. I'm not saying I have perfect posture or anything, but normally I do have good posture because of playing drums. Because that's part of what. If you slouch over and play, your back hurts all the time.
I need to spend $300 on that throne you got with the back on it because that back forces you to kind of sit up.
Oh yeah, that's the point. Is because if I tried to explain this to that Gerber kid a million times because he played like this.
I mean, like Matt.
And then he'd be all fucking gassed out in 2 songs, and I'm like,
that's
dude,
part of that technique.
Sit up straight. That's part of the technique is good posture.
Well, you got that actually right there at its base. By sitting up straight, you're training your core.
Right.
And that means that by core training, you're like that's the basic for everything. Like,
And I thought too, because when my shoulder messed up, I had kind of brought my guitar up to where my wrist would be even. I was thinking more about my hands, and then here I think I shifted the whole kind of weight of the guitar. By bringing it up higher, it kind of like pulled my shoulders more for. You know what I mean? I would. Because there was a lot of times it'd be like,
dude,
fuck.
I would not be surprised
just from sitting there playing guitar.
Has anybody ever looked up?
Start hurting.
Has anybody ever looked up any like modern bands? All modern bands wearing their guitars lower. Like that's probably a correlation with shoulder surgeries and shit. Because I know, few guitarists that like famous ones have gotten shoulder surgeries and shit.
Oh, I would imagine it's a more common problem than we all realize.
Dave Mustaine got Saturday Night Palsy. It could have.
I thought some of it too was like I was playing a lot of Call of Duty too, and back then, and it was before I would take out the vibration of the controller, and like it's like all that. Like if you just take, and squeeze, like you can feel it all up your arm. It's like, and it's just right, and it's all that fucking.
Also your pinky is a big thing. People don't realize that's like 90% of your grip is your pinky and your ring finger.
Yeah, well, especially with exactly.
Like you don't realize how much damage you're doing just playing video games if you're over gripping just with because you're you're using these for buttons.
Why do you think our generation has so much carpal tunnel? Every other person you see wears a fucking wrist brace. The bank tellers wear wrist braces. Like
one thing I try and do, or if I would work, just try and do stuff with your offhand sometimes. It might not be the most comfortable thing.
I did that to train my hands for drums because Neil Peart said that.
Almost have to,
I started brushing my teeth with my left hand. I was in computer school. I started using the mouse
just
with my
little
left
shit
hand.
that doesn't matter.
You'd be fucking surprised. Number one, how fucking horrible you are with your not dominant hand. Number two, how fucking easy it is, how much of a difference it makes when you start actively training it. Like it really does make a huge difference in your coordination and just doing little shit like moving your mouse to the other side, dude, because you'll be like, oh my god, I can't fucking do anything, and then it kind of pissed me off, and I was like, this is bullshit. I should be able to fucking.
It is weird. It's a little weird.
As long as you can write your name with your left hand, I feel like that's a good.
Sometimes that's
a
brush your thing to just
brushing your teeth.
Articulate shit.
Stuff like even just
wipe your ass.
Yeah.
Try wiping your ass with your left hand. It sucks.
Eating, all the sleeping.
You don't realize how uncoordinated your non-dominant hand is until you try to use it for really stupid things you don't think about.
Well, see, that's the thing too. I'm not ambidextrous, but I'm weird because I write with my left, but I play guitar like a right-handed person.
Well, a lot of dudes do that, because they're forced to play right-handed guitars and right-handed drum sets. So
it's just how the guitar was. And to me, I always thought too, this is like my delicate hand, so why wouldn't you want to,
I always thought that too.
I don't understand why. Maybe it's because your
Because your dominant hand is going to keep tempo better than your left dominant hand. That's been my theory. That's been my theory since the beginning. Is like this is my control's coming from.
A lot of people's like sound comes from their right hand more than their left. Like,
Well,
like you were talking the one day how you dig into the way you hold your pick and shit.
Yeah,
That's really being. That's what, and that's what I was trying to explain to you. I guess that's the best way to say it is you have a way more delicate right hand than a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's that technique. It's
there's
making stuff even and
just changing the tone.
Yeah,
you can play the same notes, but the way you pick it completely changes the feel of what it does, and that's something that a lot of guitar players are lacking. Like even though they're using their delicate hand, technically like they're right-handed, they have no delicacy in their right hand when they're playing guitar, and
it took me a long time to, I started using those bigger picks probably because I remember old pictures of like Slayer, and I do remember pictures of Chuck Schuldiner too. He used kind of bigger picks, I believe, too. And it was just, you know what I mean? And then
it gives you more surface area for more different positions and like more. It's not about how. It's not about needing to have more to hold on to. It's about the differences you can make in the tone.
Yeah.
And like you've got a lot more surface area to do different angles, to hold it different ways.
Yeah.
You hold it farther out. It kind of like it has more of that slappy sound, like a thin pick, but then you can hold it up a little bit tighter and get that real tight,
and it's
fast.
still like a normal. You just kind of have to have more.
Well, we're assuming they're normal picks. They might not even be nylon picks. They could be.
A lot.
Like, I know I had a leather pick for a while there, a felt pick for the bass and shit. So you can
it all depends on like what you kind of, especially with the bass, it'll give it a lot different like attack.
I've seen Tommy play with like tiny ass like speed picks, like literally you've got like.
The thing is a lot of the time I think they get fucking like people are like, oh, your technique's bad if you use a bigger pick, and it's like, well, no, it's different if they're using the bigger pick for different techniques.
Yeah,
like they're not. It's not a crutch. It's literally options.
Yeah,
okay.
Because some people do use it as a crutch because they can't control their pick.
That's the thing. Then you start
but if you've
switching
got pick control and you have a bigger pick, you've got more options.
But that's the thing. The beauty of it is picks are cheap, and you can switch picks and change, and not just change your tone, but get practice in. Say you want to learn how to play softly, get a fucking thin gauge pick. Get one that bends every time you go to strum. Make that pick not bend when you strum. Now you're going to learn how to play.
The key I think the key to like having more control is being able to play with a heavier pick as you go. Because everybody starts out with thinner picks. I think everybody had the thinnest, but to be able to kind of move up and as you go,
I was the other way around. I'm sure I'm an exception, but. Yeah, I started with thick, it was like, 1.5 or 1.6, the ones that don't bend at all. That's what I started with.
That's unusual, Well, because a lot of times, too, it's like, because nobody has the control over your strumming hand, and then the pick has more give, so you can, You don't
have to actually...
Especially like if you
it's risk control.
Too.
Yeah.
It's risk control. Probably why you're as good as a guitar player as you are is because risk control. Another thing you gotta learn when you're playing drums. You can't.
Well, also that's rhythm. That's all rhythm, with your right hand, and that's.
Well, how many guitar players play with a stiff fucking wrist? I've seen dudes strum and never move their.
Like the one thing I like is because if your pick starts going off, I can adjust it then more so than if it's smaller. Like sometimes it's hard for me to even fucking feel it
Can
in
you
my
even
fingers.
sweep with a solid wrist? Like if you kept your fucking wrist in one position, could you even sweep pick? You need the bending of the wrist, right?
You kind of do. I guess you probably could do it stiff-wristed, but for me personally...
Where's your compensation going?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people play
Yeah, just like...
It works like...
You can do it. It's just for me personally, it helps me with all the timing. Like, when you play drums, you kind of use the movement to help you time. Like, how long does it take to come in and out? And that's kind of where that timing thing comes from. But... So I do it the same way with guitar. I use the motion of my wrist to help me count how long or how short something needs to be. And instead of counting it with the notes I'm playing, I count it timing wise, just
Yep.
Because you'll notice Mike Dennis is the one I notice this on the most. When he does sweeps, he does this almost flourish whenever he does sweeps. And I was like, why do you do that? He was like, I don't know. I didn't even realize I did it.
Because Mike was born for guitar, and guitars were born for Mike.
What it is he's using these flourishes for timing, almost like a conductor.
Yeah.
I don't know, I personally believe there are certain people out there like that just...
Because when you watch him and he's fucking going, because Mike Dennis can just go at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and when you watch him, he's still doing all these little flourish things, like, and it's not that he's trying to look cool.
Yeah, it's like the tone of it, too. Yeah.
No, the guitar is literally a part of him.
Conductor wand, or, whatever they call him.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is, and that's part of his technique, and that's part of why he's so good.
No, dude, Mike Dennis is one of those people, there are very few on him, I personally believe, like, he needs, like, a guitar is part of him, like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
guitar,
dude,
like,
just like drums are, for me.
No, it's like, he's the kind of person, like, they've existed all throughout time in various different forms. You're one of them, too, where you're the people who made the instrument look cool. You guys are the ones, like, just by acting, by either through technique or just how
just loving doing it.
Right.
That's what I was going
to
say.
You guys, like,
gotta like to like it.
Like the whole, making faces when you play guitar. You can tell if a guitarist is really into what they're fucking playing.
Right.
If they're making stank face. It's just like, that's...
Well, some people try to do the fake stank face
and
to look
you can
cool.
tell when it's, it's like... But you can... I don't know, you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
When you've seen it, you've seen it. And I've seen an old lunch lady looking woman have some... The stankiest face play the best guitar I've ever seen.
Like, sometimes my jaw would occasionally open. Like, I usually, like, I'll lose... like what's going on here, you know what I mean? If I'm really into something, or, But
It's
occasionally, like, I have, like, where my just mouth will open, like, kind of like...
Name of this episode is going to be technique.
Oh, yeah.
But you're like...
Name of this episode is technique.
Like, I don't know.
All right? Like, if we're going to name these episodes, this one would definitely be technique. Because, seriously, think about this. Fucking from Slash to Dave Mustaine, they've all either had to have surgery or address a physical issue from either playing guitar or as a byproduct of just... I've never heard had any problems medically or any surgeries. Yngwie Malmsteen.
Well, I think sometimes, too, they're not necessarily going to promote that shit either.
What's his fuck?
Eddie Van Halen?
Not just Eddie Van... No, I think Eddie Van Halen's an exception, not the rule on this one. He's just a weirdo. Like,
he's a freak of nature.
He's, like, autistically obsessed. He made his own pickups and dropped them in wax. Like, that's cool. Like... Dude's fucking weird.
You'd be surprised how many dudes probably have back problem, neck problems.
Dude who made a handle, has the guitar with the handle built in.
Steve Vai.
Yeah, Vai. Never heard of him or fucking his mentor.
They've never had tendonitis. They've never
had... Zappa didn't have it. Dweezil doesn't have... none of the Zappas do. And maybe it comes down to genetics. Maybe it's just,
I think sometimes, too, like, there might be... I don't know. I'm not really necessarily going to go around saying, I can't fucking play like, my hands are, you know what I mean? They're not really going to, like, promote the fact that they have tendonitis or something.
But I could, my theory
you watch them play, like...
My theory could be complete bullshit because Rolling Stone.
Well,
they should be dead. Mick Jagger should be dead. They all
should be dead.
They've been playing since the 60s. They have not treated their bodies well.
They still don't.
They're good. I won't say they're masters of technique. I don't really know much of, like...
I think, too, the older I get, too, it's a matter of, like, stretching, too, before you play.
I was just about to say, a big part of it is proper technique.
Yeah.
The dudes that get hurt are the ones that aren't playing properly.
Yeah.
Like, I should have been hurt a long time ago playing drums. The amount of fucking playing... Like, a lot of people... are like, I don't understand how the fuck you play like you do for that long.
Stressing out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm literally... the only effort I'm putting into it is my excitement.
Yeah.
But I'm not hurting my body by trying to get to anything or by trying to do anything I'm doing, because if I find out real quick when I'm learning a new technique or something, I find out real quick if I'm doing it wrong because it starts to hurt. So I have to find a way to make it not hurt, and that's the proper way to do it.
The thing I notice, it'll hurt, like if I'm working on a part and like I'm playing it, you play the same thing. You're playing the same thing again and again. It's like you're doing the same shit, and it's like the same muscle motions, and you know what I mean? Then that's when it'll start aching or something.
Well, there's a difference between like damage and ache. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you can feel your muscles getting tired. Yeah. But there's a difference between feeling your muscles getting tired and your elbows starting to get fucked up. You know what I mean?
Well, and a lot of times too, realize that I'm just playing it too fast too, because I'm like trying to,
or you're just too tense.
I'm trying to work through.
You're
Yeah,
just, like,
and then
you gotta relax.
I'm speeding it up. But,
that's another big thing that fucks people up physically is you have to be relaxed when you play. Like you can be excited, but if you're tense, that's how you fuck your joints up. That's how you cramp yourself.
Because it's like you almost have to stiffen up, but you don't want to tense up.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta
to be able to play fast.
And hold your breath is a big thing. A lot of people do that they don't realize they're doing when they're getting too hard breath. They hold their breath, and that makes your whole body tense.
I think, I do it when
I took weight training. That's the first thing they teach you in weightlifting. You
have to breathe.
Breathing, because you're just gonna fuck yourself up if you're tense.
You'll get hurt. You'll fucking blow your butthole out.
You literally pull muscles. Yes,
you'll blow your asshole out if you don't breathe.
My problem, when I do vocals too, is like not doing a good breath like before, like the hard part that I gotta.
Your uncle's advice is the best advice
like,
I think we've ever gotten about projection and vocals and whatnot, about how they would
breathing as hard as you can every
not
time.
Just that standing across a whole stage or a large distance and talking. Carrying on a conversation and just from your diaphragm, learning how to control that shit.
Being able to, I know what you mean.
Yeah, my uncle, he said basically talk to somebody on the other side of a stage or whatever, but just talk to them in a reasonable way, and that you'll be using your diaphragm already. Then start learning how to do that to sing.
Yeah,
because that's how you're supposed to do it. But a lot of the time when you start singing, you're too fixated on the notes and the words and
the posture does help.
Oh, for sure, that's the biggest one.
It does
posture.
help. One thing I used to do, I would do the Lemmy thing with my mic. I would kind of point it up and force me to kind of look.
It's
up.
helped. I've done that for a few songs I've recorded.
So that way I would stop.
We want to have one more quick little jamming before I gotta go.
Steve, you want to jam? That way we all get.
No, you're good.
All right.
I was gonna bring my shit, but then it's like
I was gonna say I have this on this screen now, so if you want to just double click, or actually,
oh yeah, this was a time crunch, and I figured we could buy a little more time with Chris.
I mean, I could probably Captain Beefheart some vocals, but I don't